productivity, winning strategies, and aligning employer-employee goals. If this sounds like something your business could use more of, then you've come to the right place. The Business Mechanic Show with your host, Vaughn Sigmund. Let Vaughn show you how to develop, improve, and jumpstart your business. So now, please welcome the host of The Business Mechanic, Vaughn Sigmund.
Welcome to The Business Mechanic Show. I'm your host, Vaughn Sigmund, co-founder of Results-Driven Leadership, where companies come to improve their performance. Today, I'm going to talk about understanding the difference between a manager and a leader. Difference between management and leadership. So let's get down into it. If you want to enhance your leadership skills, and that's why you're listening to this podcast, and in the meantime, significantly impact your team and organization, today's podcast is designed specifically for you. Many of you out there are transitioning from a manager to a leader. You want to be more effective in your day-to-day duties, getting better outcomes from all of your activities, better outcomes from your teams. In order to make that transition, it requires a mindset, a new approach, and developing new skills. And that takes time, and it takes a lot of effort, and it takes discomfort. But you're in it for the long haul. And what I'm going to share with you today may put some things in perspective to help you better focus your efforts and energies. So let's explore the key attributes and strategies that distinguish exceptional leaders from the average manager. In the podcast today, my aim is to help you gain practical insights, some actionable steps to elevate your leadership capabilities and inspire your team to achieve extraordinary results. That's what results-driven leadership is all about. So now let's understand the difference between management and leadership first. Let's clarify the fundamental distinctions between management and leadership roles. How to effectively balance. You've got to be both. You've got to be a manager and a leader, and you have to balance with the proper amount of time and energy in both areas, between both functions. That's the only way you're going to maximize your impact as a leader. And in today's fast-paced world, it's 100% crucial to recognize the fundamental distinction between management and leadership. While the terms manager and leader are often used interchangeably, they really encompass distinct responsibilities and approaches that are not the same, but they support each other. Management primarily involves overseeing day-to-day operations, ensuring that tasks are executed efficiently, and in general, maintaining organizational processes. And on the other hand, leadership focuses on inspiring and guiding a team toward a shared vision, driving innovation and fostering a culture of growth and development. Let's dive further into what a manager is. The definition of a manager is an individual assigned to a specific formal position or role within an organization. Managers are responsible for overseeing day-to-day operations, allocating resources, and ensuring that tasks are completed efficiently. Make sure SOPs, processes, and procedures, what's got to get done gets done. So they focus on planning, organizing, coordinating activities to meet the organizational objectives. And while some managers may possess leadership qualities, they primarily are responsible to manage the team's performance to hit predefined targets. Get it done. Managers also enforce policies and procedure. They monitor progress, and they should be providing feedback on their team's ability to execute tasks. So let's lay that out again. A manager plans and organizes. They develop plans, set objectives, organize resources to achieve specific outcomes. They break down those tasks. They allocate those responsibilities amongst their team members. And then once they've done all that, they're going to monitor performance. They're going to track the progress. They're going to measure results. And they're going to ensure that their team members meet established performance standards, following the rules. And they're also going to implement policies. They're there to enforce the organizational policies and guidelines, ensuring that the team members adhere to established rules and procedures. And all along, they're required to provide feedback, often constructive feedback, which I've had several podcasts. Last week's podcast was on this very thing, how to give constructive feedback, because you want to help your team members as a manager with their performance, improve their performance, identify areas for improvement. And most of all, recognize any achievements. Many managers feel like their job is to do nothing but find what's wrong. And yes, that's part of your job, but it's really just as important, if not more important, to recognize what's right and catch them while they're doing it right and let them know that you saw it, which leads us to a very key function of a leader. Let's talk about what a leader's role is. A leader is an individual who inspires, guides, motivates others towards a shared vision or goal. So managers make sure it happens, and leaders inspire their team, motivate their teams to want to make it happen. Great leaders reach into the heart and soul of the individuals who support them, team members, to bring out the best in them. So it's being able to exhibit a level within your organization that is all about setting up a compelling vision, aligning your team, getting your team surrounded by what the goals are, and then inspiring them to work together, being with you and with each other collaboratively towards an achievement. They often lead by example. They display integrity. They walk the talk. They can't bend the rules. They can't break the rules if they're enforcing the rules. It's a subtle nuance. Empathy. They have to show empathy towards their team. And most of all, they have to be authentic. And there's another podcast out there on authenticity and leadership. Really important that you build that part of your leadership resume out, your skill set, because that fosters trust and respect. That trust and respect gets into, again, the heart of your team members to bring out the best in them. They want to work for you. They want to achieve for you, not just because they're told to. Remember, people work for people. They don't work for companies. So whatever happens, good or bad, is all tied directly to your leadership skills and their willingness and drive to support you in the needs and the responsibilities you assign. Do they want to do it, or are you forcing them to do it? Command and control, as I often say, it works, but only temporarily. And you're driving a wedge between you and your team members every minute you're commanding and controlling. So that's where this leadership aspect's got to come in. You've got to take the actions and display the skills, the best practices, the behaviors of strong leadership. It just makes your job so much easier because you need to be forward-thinking. You need to be adaptable. You, of all people, need to embrace change, create innovation, be able to navigate any challenges. And if you see opportunities, take advantage of those. So in short, they nurture a positive organizational culture. They promote growth and development of their team members and help inspire them to gain results. So inspire and motivate, build relationships. I didn't touch on that, but building relationships needs to be a professional leadership. You do not want to be friends with your direct reports. You need to be friendly, but you can't be friends. That's my opinion. I could do a whole nother podcast on that topic alone. You want to have strong relationships. You want to be empathetic with your team members. And you want to build a relationship of trust and respect and empathy. You want to understand what the individual's strengths are, what their goals are, what their aspirations are. So you can help guide them in their activities to achieve those aspirations. So it's a work relationship, not a personal relationship. You want to encourage their growth. You want to promote their continuous learning. You want to put them in situations so they can achieve some personal development. Because as they grow and advance, you grow and advance. Everybody benefits from that. As I stressed earlier, you, of all people, need to facilitate change. Your head's got to be wrapped around whatever change, the need for change, identify opportunities for change, and effectively guide your team through uncertain times, up times, down times. Things always go wrong. You've got to be the leader to help guide them through that. They need a clear vision. You need to provide direction. You need to be steady and positive. Never let them see you sweat. So, in summary, leaders and managers both play crucial roles within an organization, but they possess distinct qualities and perform their jobs using different functions. Leaders focus on inspiring and guiding towards a vision, build strong relationships, foster a positive culture, and managers prioritize, coordinate, and ensure that tasks are being executed, things are getting done. And both roles are essential. But today, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the leadership part of it, as I often do, because having strong leadership skills, that enhances your improvement as a business owner, as an executive, or a manager in several very crucial ways. Let's talk about those. Vision and direction. That's a term that's often used. Rarely is it properly executed. But if you become a very strong leader, this allows you to define a clear vision. Where are we going and how are we going to get there? Vision and direction. And as a business owner, executive, or manager, having a compelling vision and then being able to convey that to your team and continue to motivate your team, keeping them tied and aligned towards the goals is the game changer. And you want to do, second thing, team building, employee engagement, crucial to all this, crucial to your success, because effective leadership helps you build and nurture high performance teams. And by understanding the strengths and aspirations of your team members, you assign roles that capitalize on their skills. You can't make an apple an orange. Know what they're good at. Foster a sense of purpose. Tie their aspirations to their job and how what they're doing, learning and gaining and improving gets them closer to their aspiration. You do that, you are really driving engagement with the organization. Because when they're engaged, you can spot it a mile away. Engaged employees are fully committed to their work. And through that, they contribute a high level of overall success and growth for your business. Third thing, decision-making. Again, whether you're a business owner, executive, or manager, you're often faced with complex decisions that it's going to impact your team or your organization's future. So when you have strong leadership skills, analysis and decision-making, critical thinking skills, that you know how to work through problem solving, you become very confident in your decisions, that you're not afraid of being wrong, that you learn when you learn from mistakes. And it's also very important to consider various perspectives, collaborate, weigh the pros and cons. And sometimes when you're communicating change, you need to be able to communicate the rationale, the whys behind your choices, because that gains buy-in. That gains that support you must have to be a great leader with your team. Because change is something we're faced with all the time. In today's dynamic business environment, change is inevitable. And effective leaders are very adept at leading their teams through times of uncertainty, transition, change. Because when you develop your strong leadership skills, you can communicate the need for change, the why for the change. You can then be open and confident to address any concerns. Draw that out of your team. It's crucial, being able to understand what the roadblocks are going to be before you hit the roadblock. And that's a whole nother training that you have to go through, but that is so important. because you've got to rally your team around this shared vision, this change, whatever transition you're making, to make it smooth and make sure they're bought into it. They're doing it willingly and with gusto. And then communication and relationship building, because effective leaders, they excel in communication. You do not have to be a super gregarious, outgoing person to be effective at communication. You can be very introverted and demure, but still be a very effective communicator, because you're not only effectively speaking with your team members, you also need to be an effective communicator with external stakeholders, peers, bosses, shareholders, investors. You must be able to effectively communicate your vision, the company's vision, your vision, and the expectations, the activities, what we've got to do to get there, and then be able to give them progress updates clearly and often. It's amazing how when you can identify KPI and be able to measure your team's performance using a number, how that drives buy-in and success. You have to be adaptable. You need to innovate. And when you're a strong leader, your skills help you embrace change, to be agile, drive innovation. When you need to pivot, figure something out, it's a new direction or a new way to do something, you have to be able to embrace that, seize that, collaborate on that, and then execute it. You should be encouraging a culture of innovation. There's always a better way, not just your way. Should never be because that's the way we always do it. Empower your employees. Have regular sessions where you allow them to contribute ideas and solutions. When you partner with them, make them a part of the solution. Man, is that powerful when they own a part of it? That's buy-in. And by doing all these things, you're creating employee development. It's crucial. As a leader, you must be investing in the development of your employees. And how do you do that? You've got to provide guidance, mentorship, certainly be looking for opportunities for growth. And it's not only just promotions. Could be a different position, could be lateral, could be cross-training, but you want to empower your team members to play to their strengths, their full potential. And by doing that, you drive loyalty and retention through the roof. Many of your competitors do not approach the workplace that way. They're a game changer. All these things I just talked about are an amazing game changer. I've worked for great leaders. I felt like I've had very solid leadership skills that I've developed over decades. And once you begin improving and maybe years into it, and you start seeing these changes, these improvements in the outcomes of your efforts, this is going to enable you to get them to want to do it. That inspirational leader to help guide and empower your team to achieve exceptional results. Navigate the challenges, be confident, while fostering a culture of excellence and innovation. And you must be. This is not a one and done. It's not a weekend seminar. This is an everyday commitment. Every day. And if you're not in it, if you're not driven enough for your own personal development and success, you're letting a lot of people down. You are. But if you commit to be continuously honing your leadership abilities, you will continue to grow and affect many others to drive positive change, make their lives happier, allow them to go home feeling like they were successful today, you to be able to go home and feel like you were successful today. You're getting the most you can out of the organization's potential, which certainly impacts your business's success. See, leadership development is not a destination, but a continuous, lifelong journey that requires a significant personal commitment. And true leadership goes beyond acquiring a position or a title. A leader does not come with a title. The whole role of leadership in your job, that involves continuous self-improvement, learning, growth, practice, applying it, learning from it, continuing to get better at it. It's the willingness to challenge yourself, get uncomfortable, As long as you're comfortable, you're not growing. And that's where your performance improvement comes from. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You've got to embrace new perspectives, new ideas, new approaches. And moreover, it's not just confined to your professional life. It extends to all aspects of your life, including your personal relationships, your community involvement. It's all those things. You impact a lot of people, both at work and outside. Be a positive resource to them. Super important. So let me just give you 10 reasons to invest in leadership development for yourself, or if you're a business owner, you and your team, because it yields a multitude of benefits that will significantly impact success. So, one, obviously, if you invest in leadership development, either through a coach, a program, reading a book, that's where I learned to first start working on mine. I've read dozens of books, but it's all about the development, gaining some new tools, some new knowledge, always wanting to excel, to enhance my communication skills, my decision-making skills, to become more confident. Because by doing that, it's the second reason, is that fosters employee engagement. Engaged employees, and I worked for one of the most engaged organizations in the world. We were in the top 92% of all companies in the world for our level of employee engagement. We were at the top of the top percent. And I saw it in action, and I've worked for other companies that weren't. But where are engaged employees, they're more committed, they're more dedicated. And as you develop your leadership and equip yourself and others with the skills to engage and motivate their teams, higher job satisfaction trails along with that, with much lower turnover rates. Number three, driving innovation and creativity. Because when you're a leader with a growth mindset and you foster a culture of innovation, man, there's nothing you can't figure out. There's nothing you can't achieve. And if you're committed to your leadership development, you're in the right program, you're committed to all the proper ways, the long-term ways, that's going to encourage creative thinking on this part of you, and more importantly, on the part of your team. Because you've got to be looking for constant, fresh ideas and to drive continuous improvement. That's how your company grows. Number four, it builds strong teams, because great leaders, effective leaders, create cohesive teams because they understand team dynamic, how to manage each different individual in the way they need to be managed and communicated to. It's not one size fits all. Great leaders understand that. Great leaders embrace collaboration. They involve everybody in the collective pool of knowledge on a regular basis to seek new ideas, to allow their opinions to be heard and acted upon. And all that nurtures talent. And it builds a diverse, harmonious workforce. It's amazing. I've been there. I know how it works. Number five, all of this drives organizational performance. It simply makes your company more successful, more profitable, drives sales, because effective leaders align teams with the company's visions, values, goals. And when everybody understands what's expected of them and they're bought into getting there, that's good stuff. Number six, adapting to change. Because in today's business environment, being adaptable is crucial. When you're in a good leadership development program, that will allow you to cultivate the resilience and the agility to lead confidently through change. The world is always changing. Number seven, this is one that's often overlooked as well, and that's cultivating a leadership pipeline. Because the better you get as a leader, you can focus on the current leaders or identify and groom future leaders within the organization. When you're the person within the organization, or you're a business owner who is constantly creating a leadership pipeline, even if you don't have openings, when you do, you're going to have a continuous supply of capable leaders ready to take on higher responsibilities. And I have walked that talk. I know how well that works. I know how to do it. I've done it and done it. For example, when I retired in 2012, my last day was on a Friday. And Monday, the replacement I've been working on for years was in place. And when that person got promoted, because I created this culture within this team that I built, his replacement was ready by Monday. When he got promoted, the next leader was ready to step into it. All people I've worked with for years and put them all through the paces, setting them up for success and developing them to be ready when the time came. We never had to worry about replacing people because we always had people to replace them with. We rarely had to go to the outside because we had our people ready to go inside. It's doable, and it doesn't cost anything other than your effort, your knowledge and your effort. Moving on. Number 8, it's going to retain your top talent. I know how disappointing it can be. I've seen it. I felt it when one of your best people leaves. Sometimes you can control it. Sometimes it's just they've got to move to take care of a sick parent, or sometimes the spouse has to move for job opportunities. But sometimes they get taken away. People don't leave companies, they leave bosses. And when their bosses are great leaders, that cuts turnover by huge amounts because they've become very loyal to that leader. People work for people, not companies. And when you're a great leader, this enhances your employees' loyalty and retention. And they're much more likely to stay. I think there's about a 30%, 25 or 30%, the last time I saw a statistic that through studies, how much somebody would stay away from and being lured away. I think it was a 25 or 30% increase in pay to stay with a great leader that they trusted and they knew they had a future with. It keeps your best people around. Number 9, improving your decision-making skills. Great leadership development programs, honing leaders, and they hone those leaders' critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Even for those who don't have right now high ability in critical thinking, good leadership programs, effective leadership programs, they bring that out in you. It is something we truly believe can be trained. If you have the right intelligence, we can teach you critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And of course, when you have that, you're just going to be that much more effective. You're going to make decisions that are much more informed. And number 10, strengthening your organization's culture. Because when you're a great leader and you've surrounded yourself with great leaders, that has a very positive impact on an organization's culture. That's the biggest ROI out of a leadership development program. If you've never worked in a highly engaged, high performance culture, you don't know what you're missing. And as you invest in yourself, you invest in a leadership development program, those positive behaviors trickle down. They trickle down and positively influence the entire workforce, which shapes a culture of success and collaboration. That I call that the transformational triangle of change. And I haven't talked about this in a while. I'm glad I remembered to bring it up today. The transformational triangle of change. What does that mean? It's a powerful relationship between leadership development, leadership skills, and team performance and company improvement. As you work on yourself as an individual, focus on enhancing their leadership abilities, they become more adept at inspiring, empowering, and guiding their teams. And through this improved leadership, guess what? They're inspiring their teams, they're motivating their teams, they're engaging, productivity goes way up. Let me give you some statistics around that. Studies have shown that companies with transformational leaders experience significant positive outcomes. And according to Gallup, organizations with highly engaged, and I talked about this multiple times, organizations with highly engaged teams have a 21% higher profitability than their competitors. 21%. Pretty big ROI. And that's just one statistic. So I'm running out of time here. Let me wrap this thing up. In summation, by investing in a leadership development program for yourself or for your team, both the company and all the individuals create a very positive ripple effect throughout your organization that results in enhanced performance, greater innovation, a sustainable pipeline of capable leaders. You're prepared for future challenges. And these programs are so beneficial for the growth of you as an individual and your team. So certainly, I do this all day, every day. I work as a performance coach, executive coach with teams and individuals on all these things. Leadership is the key. And if you'd like to learn more about results-driven leadership training programs or coaching programs, we've got a great team of experienced former executives. It takes practice. You've got to apply your knowledge and work on it and work on it and work on it. And it takes a lot of time. You only learn by doing, but you have to be comfortable enough with the material and how to do it. That's where the coaching, that's where the courses, that's where the books. You're not going to learn it by listening. You're not going to learn by reading. You're going to learn by doing. And that's where you need to get a mentor, a coach, so that they can work you into a situation, the situation you're dealing with, walk you through it, help apply it, maybe sometimes observe you. And that's where you grasp it. That's where it takes hold. And at the end of the day, you're going to become better and better in little 2%, 1%, 3%. Your confidence builds. You're doing it more and more. You're willing to get more and more uncomfortable. But practice, folks. You have to put it to a practical application, or you're just never going to learn and be able to apply it. You may be very knowledgeable. You have to be able to apply it and apply it in all the different kinds of situations that you're going to be facing. That's where a coach, that's where a mentor comes in. Unlikely you can go into a weekend seminar. It's not like a car wash. You don't drive in, drive out, and you're trained. You have to take your time. Be patient with yourself and apply it. Try it, fail, learn from it. Try it again with a better approach. And again, you have to have a feedback loop. If it's not your boss that's working with you, if you don't have a mentor or peer or boss that's working with you at work, you need somebody outside of that. And that's where it is a great investment for you to find a coach, find a mentor, find a program, group coaching session to help you work on this. It is a great investment for you and your career. And yes, that's what I do, but I'd be happy for you to hire me, but that's not what this is about. This is about your improvement. I do this out of the love of being able to help people. If every now and then somebody hires me, great. But that's not why I'm doing this podcast today. It's to help you understand the value, the impact, all the great stuff that's going to come from you investing in yourself, practicing what you learn, but get on it. It's not going to fix itself, y'all. We don't teach out of any books. We're not teaching somebody else's material. We're giving it to you from our decades long of experience. We've been on the front lines. We've been in the trenches. We know how it works. We've used it. We've made the mistakes so you don't have to. So contact us. Let's talk about either your own leadership development or your teams, investing in your teams. If you want me to explain that to you in detail, reach out to me. I'd love to be able to explain all that to you. And please talk to us. We'd love to hear more from you. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it. If there's a place to put a comment or a like on it, please do that. That helps others find our podcast. So this kind of information expands to others. I really appreciate the effort. So once again, thank you all for listening today. It is always a pleasure to be here. I enjoy every minute of it. We'll talk to you again next week. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of the Business Mechanic Show. If today's content resonates with you, then you're going to love what we have to offer. For those of you who are ready to take your business or personal career to the next level, we have an array of training and coaching services tailored just for you. From performance coaching designed to enhance your potential, to executive coaching that guides leaders to steer their ships towards greater success. Are you in sales management or looking to fortify your leadership acumen? Dive into our sales management training and coaching. Not only will it sharpen your strategies, but it will also provide you an ROI that's undeniable. Remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself and your team. For those seeking flexible learning options, we're excited to share our online and in-person management leadership classes. These aren't just your typical courses. They are meticulously crafted, ensuring that they align with your unique needs and aspirations. And the best part, prices start at just $47 per month, making top-tier coaching and training accessible for everyone. Your growth, both personally and professionally, can have a ripple effect, the one I call the transformational triangle of change. The skills you learn, the perspectives you gain, and the efficiencies you create can translate into increased revenues, more cohesive teams, and an enriched company culture. So why wait? The potential ROI on this investment isn't just in dollars, it's in the progressive future you're carving out for yourself and your organization. Thanks once again for tuning in. And remember, every business needs a tune-up every now and then. Let the Business Mechanic Show be your guide. Check out our website, rdltraining.com, to discover more details on our programs and coaches. We have a link in the show notes to guide you there. Until next time, we're out of here.